Thinking about buying your first home can seem overwhelming. You might have a mountain of questions and you don't even know where to begin. That's what I'm here for, to help narrow and answer some of these essential questions so that it seems realistic and obtainable instead. I'm Ross Bacon with the May Group at RE/MAX of Grand Rapids, and this is what I do every day. I've been doing this for over a decade, and I've surrounded myself with some of the best realtors in the industry. So I've got some valuable things to share with you. Let's start with the number one question I get from clients interested in starting the process. How do I get started? The first instinct is to always jump onto Zillow, start browsing listings, and fall in love with the house, and then figure out the money part. But that is likely setting you up for disappointment while making the entire process feel rushed and overwhelming, especially in this current market. The very first step is understanding your finances. Cannot stress this enough, and that means sitting down with a lender before you do anything else. A lender is going to look at your full financial picture, your income, your debt, your credit score, your savings, and tell you exactly where you stand. That conversation does two really important things. First of all, it shows you your actual buying power that a bank will lend you when you buy a house. And second of all, it might reveal areas that need some work before you're ready to buy. Maybe your credit score needs a little bit of work, a few months of attention. Maybe you're carrying a little too much debt. Finding that out now before you fall in love with the house can save you a heartbreak. So while we're on the subject, I tell this to every single first-time home buyer I work with. It's not about what you're approved for, it's about what you're comfortable with. A lender might approve you for $450,000, but if that monthly payment keeps you up at night, it's not the right number for you. Knowing the difference between your ceiling and your comfort zone is one of the most valuable things you can have. And when the time comes to put in that offer, you're going to feel so much more comfortable than just maxing out your approval amount without really knowing what that payment looks like. So please, ask your real estate agent for lender recommendations, specifically local lenders. It's not specifically about, bank A or bank B. What you really want to look for is somebody that maybe the agent knows who has experienced their process, knows exactly what to expect when you get an accepted offer. But first, they're going to want to know what type of lending product you're going to have or need, whether that be the VA or FHA or a conventional loan. Then that's going to really help me personally as an agent or other agents identify who might be the best fit. But really what you're looking for is a lender who's just going to answer the phones, be available when you need them, because a lot of these things really pop up during the weekends when you're out looking at homes. You might need to tweak something. So having a local lender who's available and able to, meet your needs when you need it, that's really what the key factor comes down to. So specifically in today's market right now, I can't tell you how many multiple offer situations I've won solely based off of that local lender recommendation. So when you have two offers and you're up against in a multiple offer situation, and you have two offers that are apples to apples, it might really boil down to a specific lender maybe the listing agent is familiar with. I've been in that situation many times where you're looking and there's okay, I know who this lender is. I've been through their process. They have a great reputation. Let's go with that offer. These are all the kind of things that I'm analyzing when I'm recommending lenders to clients. So a couple other finance questions that you might have is how much do you need for a down payment? I know that really depends on your loan type. There's conventional loans typically want 3 to 20% down. FHA loans can be as low as 3.5%. VA, USDA loans, sometimes 0 down if you qualify. So the short answer is, it might be less than you really think. What other costs should you expect beyond the down payment? Well, you got your closing costs that typically run 2 to 5% of the purchase price. You've also got the inspections, appraisals, moving costs, and potentially some immediate repairs or updates once you move in. I always tell my buyers to try to budget for the house and the first 90 days of owning it. I'm often asked about earnest money deposits, what that means and what it's for. This is a good faith deposit that's typically 1 to 3% of the purchase price. It shows the seller that you're a serious buyer. It goes towards your closing costs, and yes, in certain situations, it can be at risk if you back out, which is exactly why I'm careful about how we structure the contingencies. Okay, so what about the process as a whole? How long does it take to actually buy a home? About 30 days is not uncommon in a typical market once you have the accepted offer. A lot goes on during this time period. You got the inspections, the appraisals, further negotiations, loan processing, title work, and each house might have some unique needs or work that needs to be done. In the current market, it is always advantageous to speed that process up should you be competing against other offers. A solid lender should be able to get you from start to finish in 2 to 3 weeks, depending on your finances. So I'd recommend if a lender is asking for any sort of documentation, don't wait. Get them to it as soon as possible to keep things on track. So do I really need to use an agent? Well, no. You can do whatever you want, really, but I would seriously caution you against doing this on your own. You really want someone that's looking out for your best interests. If the seller has an agent, they're looking out for the seller's interest, not yours. The job of the real estate agent is to take care of you through every step of the journey. An experienced agent knows how to write a competitive offer, what to watch for in the disclosures, how to negotiate inspection items, and how to keep the deal together when things get complicated. First-time home buyers especially benefit from having someone in their corner. We're here to answer questions, reduce the stress, and help put you in the best possible position. So for me, I want to feel that and know that we've got you in the great home. And I have absolutely zero issues speaking up if I don't feel that. Also, it's not uncommon for the seller to pay part of or all of the buyer's agent's commission. So you can often get professional representations at no direct cost to you. So you found a home you love, but how do you know what to offer? Your agent should be able to help you understand the specific house you're looking at. We look at comparable sales, what similar homes have actually sold for recently, not just what they're listed at. We consider how long the home's been on the market, whether there's a competing offer, or what your priorities are. The price does matter, but so do the terms, your timeline, and your contingencies. Are you ready to buy a home? If you have stable income, manageable debt, a solid credit score, and you're planning to stay in the area for a few years, then maybe you are. And if you're not quite there yet, that lender conversation I talked about earlier at the start will tell you exactly what to work on. First-time home buying is one of the biggest decisions you're ever going to make, and the buyers who approach it with a plan always have a better experience than the ones who wing it. So start with the lender, understand your finances, and then let's go find you a home. So if you have any questions that I didn't cover, drop them in the comments below. And if you're ready to start the conversation about buying in the Grand Rapids area, reach out. I'd love to help. Again, my name is Ross Bacon with RE/MAX of Grand Rapids. Thanks so much for watching.